Today's video is going to be a bit different because lately I've been talking a lot about coaching, and it's been a while since I've mentioned personal development. But there's one thing that really frustrates me and that I needed to bring to the channel, and that thing is witnessing amazing women who have so much potential, so many skills, so many strength, so much power within them. Witnessing them consistently belittling themselves and their capacity and their potential and self-abandoning constantly. That gets on my nerves. And I guess I'm not a coach for no reason. It's because I love being the person who's by their side and helps them realize how much they have within them and how much they can give to the world as well. But I felt the need to record a video on this topic of self-abandonment today because I realized that sometimes I've also been the woman who abandons herself and doesn't even realize it, and my friends have felt like shaking me and telling me, "Wake up, you deserve so much better than this." And so I wanted to be that woman who does this for you today. If you feel like you want to help other women rise, you want to lead, you want to coach, you want to guide people, but deep down you're still abandoning yourself daily, then this video is for you. And before I start talking about self-abandonment, I just wanted to say that this has nothing to do with being perfect as a Muslim woman and as a coach. It's about integrity with yourself. It's about the way that you show up, because the way that you show up for you will impact how much you respect yourself, and that will then impact how much you chase your dreams. Because a woman who does not respect herself has no reasons to go after her dreams and after her goals. If you don't have self-respect, then why would you see yourself as someone worthy to even go after what she wants? And this is really the foundation of having a healthy self-esteem, being confident, loving oneself. These are all different terms. And for me, one of the most important ones to master at the beginning of your journey to working on yourself is self-respect. And you know, one thing that I told a client of mine recently is to not confuse self-love and self-respect. Self-love should be unconditional. You should be able to love yourself and have compassion for yourself and care for yourself on the days where you're not behaving the way that you should, on the days where you're not being a good Muslim. You should still have some sort of self-love, because how are you going to improve yourself if you don't love yourself? And we get that self-love from the notion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always has the doors of mercy open for us. So that's one concept. On the other end, self-respect is something that needs to be earned. Just like the respect that you give to someone else should be earned. And how is it earned? By doing things and engaging in actions that lead you to respecting yourself. When I show up, when I keep my promises to myself or to others, when I do what I said I was going to do, when I take care of myself, when I feed my body and soul and mind, I respect myself. Okay? So we need both, but I do believe that self-respect is what leads us to being the ambitious, disciplined, motivated, consistent women that we want to be. Now, let's talk about what is self-abandonment. What does it look like in your personal life to start with? Because I feel like most women don't even realize they're abandoning themselves because we've normalized women abandoning themselves. We live in a society where it's normal and accepted for a woman, a Muslim woman, to sacrifice everything, and it's not even for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what enrages me even more. It's like, I'm not even going to get into this, but what does self-abandonment look like in your personal life? It looks like agreeing to things that you don't even want to do just because you want to avoid tension around you. You want to avoid making some people feel a certain way. So you have put people's feelings and needs above yours consistently. Okay, we're not talking about self-sacrifice from time to time for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of compromising in a way that's balanced. No, we're talking about a pattern of you often saying yes to things that you don't want to do, that you don't have the capacity to do, you don't have the energy and time to do, but you still do it. And that turns into resentment and anger and frustration with time, and also burnout. That's the first thing. It also looks like Keeping toxic people around you just because you're scared of being alone and you'd rather be around them than be alone. And I'm using the word toxic, but let's get a little bit more precise here. What is a toxic person? It's someone who will take a lot from you and who will bring absolutely nothing to you and to your life, and who often will not even help you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's keeping people like this around. It's dismissing your feelings and calling yourself too sensitive. So you're literally rejecting your reality, your perception of things and denying yourself the acceptance of those emotions and feelings. It's forcing yourself to be low maintenance in relationships. And I'm smiling because I've been there and I'm still mad at myself for being that woman once upon a time. But it's just like agreeing to do absolutely everything in a relationship, be everything for the person that you are with, and allowing them to be absolutely nothing for you. That is proper self-abandonment. And if that's you right now, I want you to be upset at yourself and use that anger to get out of that situation. Why are you okay with receiving the bare minimum when you're putting 200% in a relationship? What else does self-abandonment look like? It looks like ignoring your body's signals, like hunger, exhaustion, stress, because resting for you feels like a luxury. It feels like something that you don't allow yourself to do, something that you're not deserving of. But when it comes to meeting and satisfying everyone's needs around you with a little bit of validation or affection or attention, you're there. But taking care of yourself, nah, not a priority. It also looks like shrinking yourself in rooms where you should be shining. And you know you can because you have intelligence, beauty, culture, humor, but you still make yourself look small because you feel like you will fit in better if you do that, and you'll be accepted if you're not too much or too loud. And you have those huge fears of rejection, abandonment. And so you tell yourself that it's better to make people comfortable and making yourself small. But really, it's not about other people, it's about how you feel and what you fear. So it's a very selfish thing at the end of the day. This is what I want you to realize that self-abandonment look like it's a selfless thing, but no, it's not. When you abandon yourself for the sake of being validated and getting attention, that is a very selfish thing to do. And that's your ego speaking and behaving on your behalf. And when we work on ourselves to fill our cup, to learn how to validate ourselves, to learn how to love ourselves and respect ourselves, and give ourselves the attention and affection that we need, or get that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we don't go and seek it from outside and we don't behave for the sake of people loving us all the time. Because behind self-abandonment, what is there truly is a little girl who's saying, please love me, please accept me, please don't reject me, don't abandon me. Now, when it comes to business, because this is what I talk about here as well, so I just wanted to take some time to tell you one thing. If you are struggling with some of the things I've mentioned and you're thinking of starting a business, or you are already in business somehow, you are your own boss, the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything. The way that you self-abandon in your personal life is going to show up in your professional life as well. And that is going to negatively impact your business. And it's going to look like you constantly lowering your prices out of fear of, again, being seen as being too much by potential clients, the fear of rejection. It looks like giving away your time, your energy, your services for free all the time. And again, then feeling resentful about that. It looks like not promoting yourself because you don't want to annoy people, not wanting to sell your services because you don't want to come across as salesy. Again, the fear of rejection. It looks like seeking constant validation from external people instead of trusting yourself and trusting your inner voice, especially when you ask advice from people who have nothing to say about business that's valuable. If the people around you are losers when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, why do we even want to seek validation from them? If we're talking about business mentors and coaches, then okay, but even then, at some point, you have to stop seeking validation and also trust yourself. And when you self-abandon constantly, trusting your intuition is something really hard to do The other thing that happens when you are self-abandoning when it comes to business is that you tend to hide your story, you hide your struggles, and you also hide your power just because you're scared of being judged. And what I want you to see is that you just cannot call other women to rise while you constantly play small and abandon yourself. And I think that's why right now you have this huge sense of imposter syndrome. It's because of that element of self-abandonment. You can't lead anyone if you still abandon yourself. Now, why is it so hard to break this pattern? Well, first of all, unfortunately, there's a lot of conditioning behind it. And we carried that with us in adulthood. Like being selfish is something that was frowned upon for women, but what was described as being selfish was literally normal behavior for a man. Like taking time for yourself, taking time to chill with the boys, going out and exploring the world, having the intelligence to develop a hustle or a way to make money so that you can protect yourself, prioritizing your needs, chilling after work, like all these things that I saw my dad and my brother do, but that I was not allowed to do at home. Like I had to be on guard all the time, ready to clean the house, ready to receive guests, ready to do homework, ready to do this and this and that. And that was the upbringing and the difference, the double standard between girls and boys in my household, for example. So there's a conditioning. And also being an immigrant in a Western country and being a Muslim in a non-Muslim country, there's that extra layer of you have to assimilate, you have to be good, you have to be quiet, you have to be better than your neighbor who's not a person of color and not a Muslim. So be agreeable, agree with everything that they tell you. Don't rock the boat, don't make too much noise, blend in, be a good girl, otherwise people will talk. So all of that is there. Then you also have past trauma, which makes it hard to let go of this self-abandoning pattern. Growing up, if you didn't feel safe or seen by your caregivers, ingrain that belief in you that you were not deserving of good things, that you were not good enough, that you were not worthy, and the treatment that you were getting from your caregivers should be a reflection of how you treat yourself. This is what kids tend to think, but that's not true. We know that. We know it from the rational perspective of things, but we don't necessarily apply it because the unconscious mind is still very much holding on to this. So you have to do the work of letting go of those limiting beliefs. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of fears as well that sustain the self-abandonment. What if I get rejected? If I honor myself and my need, I'm gonna lose someone, I'm gonna lose love, I'm gonna lose opportunity, I'm gonna lose respect. When really that's not true, it's the opposite. And this is honestly the story of so many women that I've worked with, and it used to be my story as well. Like I used to be so scared of taking care of myself, of voicing my needs, of being comfortable letting go of people and things that would not be okay with me setting boundaries. That was a massive fear for me. And subhanAllah, I am so grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made me go through hardship and tests that has allowed me to see how much I was abandoning myself in certain fields of my life. He's put anger in my heart for me to change that. It looked like from the beginning, me having serious daddy issues. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I speak about that sometimes, but having a father that was not emotionally there for me led me to constantly seek external validation and attention as a teenager and to accept the bare minimum in terms of behavior in my relationships as if it was gold and as if it was the best thing ever and to feel so grateful for it. And I'm not saying we should be discontent as Muslim women. No, not at all. Alhamdulillah, whatever we are given, we should be grateful for it. But being in situations where you have to beg for the bare minimum and you have to send someone long messages to ask them to treat you like a decent human being. I have been in those situations and I will never be in them again. Inshallah, Ya Rab, I'm praying that I've learned my lesson, whether it's in romantic relationships or friendships or business partnerships. I've learned a big lesson this year is that I will never lower my standards again. And that's the other thing that we're taught as Muslim women. You need to compromise. I don't mind compromising, but what are you bringing to the table? If you ask me to compromise, what are you bringing into my life that justify me compromising? This is the question that I want you to ask yourself whenever something comes to you, an opportunity, a future spouse, a new friend. If they want you to compromise, khair, alhamdulillah, no problem. But what are you bringing to the table that justifies me compromising? I used to be such a people pleaser that it did not matter what people did for me, I would give them everything. And alhamdulillah, when it's done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, good. Do it, and may Allah reward you. But we are human beings. We've got needs and we've got limits. You can give and give and give and give and give, but you also have to replenish. You have to restore. You have to take care of yourself. And if the people around you are only able to take and they can never give you, then where does that leave you? You're going to be the woman who's always depleted and never reaching anything for herself while everyone around her is doing well. And how is that okay? I refuse to be that woman anymore. I'm done. And if you feel like you are in this situation as well, this is your call. This is your sign. Trust me. Because here's what happens when you start choosing yourself. You become magnetic. You know, all this masquerade that you've put in place so that people love you, the mask that says yes to everything because you fear being abandoned and rejected, it's not working. People don't trust a people pleaser. They don't trust someone who don't respect themselves. They don't trust a doormat. Your clients will trust you more if you have boundaries, if you have a backbone, if you have an opinion on things, if they know what you're standing up for. No one likes to hang out with the girl who has nothing to say and who says yes to everything. How boring is that girl? When I look at the women that I admire in my life, they are some of the most stubborn women. And when we look at the Sahabiyat as well, subhanAllah, some of them were known to be stubborn and opinionated. They had a big mouth. Let's be honest about that. So stop fearing speaking up for yourself and for your needs and having an opinion on things. Stop fearing setting boundaries because that actually lead people to trusting you and respecting you. And that shows them exactly how to treat you. So stop over explaining, stop over giving, stop overworking. This is what happens when you stop self abandoning. These things start happening. And you also learn how to make decisions faster because you trust yourself. You have become a safe space for yourself and for others as well. And you trust your intuition because you've reconnected with it, because you've stopped abandoning yourself and you now respect yourself and your voice. And just remember, like a healed woman is not a woman who leads from perfection. It's a woman who leads from intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sincerity. I'm not trying to push you to become this extremely selfish woman who doesn't care about anyone and anything. No, I'm just advocating for balance. Balance in the way that we give, but also in the way that we take care of ourselves. So that we don't end up being an ummah of extremely burnt out and resentful and bitter Muslim women. And also so that we raise the standards when it comes to how people treat us. And this is something that's going to be valid in your personal and your professional life. And if you want people to respect you in both, you have to respect yourself. That's all I'm saying. So if you feel like you're not fully showing up for yourself right now, then take this as your sign. This is your call to evolve. You're not broken. You just need to let go progressively of the version of you that needed to please in order to feel safe. You don't need to do that anymore. You can make yourself feel safe through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His mercy, His love. And you don't have to constantly seek for that external validation, okay? If you work on those things, then trust me, you'll become such a confident and better version of yourself. A version of you who doesn't constantly doubt herself. This starts with really respecting yourself and not abandoning yourself anymore. All right, that's it for today. If this hits home, and you're ready to start your coaching business after hearing me rant for the past 20 minutes, then make sure to get the Thriving Coach workbook so that you can start the journey of reflecting on what you want to create. You just have to comment workbook under this video, inshallah, and I will send you the link so that you can download this free digital journal. And I will see you in the next video, inshallah. Let me know in the comments below what spoke to you the most. And from now on, I hope you stop abandoning yourself. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve to fulfill your needs and have them fulfilled by the people around you just as much as you fulfill theirs. Take care, beautiful. Ma salama.